We're about to make some baseline dyno runs on a 2013 Camaro with less than 4,000 miles on it. Why, you ask? He lives in a town full of Mustangs and he got served. He's vowed to never let that happen again. Today we're going to install an STS remote mount twin turbo kit on this bad boy and show you the results. STS pioneered the remote mount turbo system. In fact, in 2003, they actually patented the technology. So the only company that can actually sell the remote mount turbo system is STS. Now, they have designed the system so that no modifications are needed to the exhaust system whatsoever. The only thing you do is these replace the factory mufflers. So in essence, everything else on the exhaust system, from the factory header all the way back through the catalytic converters, is bone stock and untouched. Now, because the STS turbo system is remote mounted, there are several benefits to this. One is underhood temperatures stay significantly cooler. There are no hot exhaust turbine housings, there's no hot exhaust manifold to really get those underhood temperatures really cooking. Secondly, you don't need a turbo timer. Because these turbos actually are able to cool down, they're actually in the free flow of air without being in the engine compartment. No need for a turbo timer to cool them down after a hard run. Also, with the STS turbo system, you get a 1 to 3 mile per gallon increase in fuel economy. Okay, now our STS kit, when it arrived, came in 3 huge boxes full of all kinds of parts. And I'll tell you what, I've installed several of these kits and I never cease to be amazed at how complete the kit is. It comes with every nut, every bolt, every screw, all the wiring, everything you need. Comes with all of your silicone hose fittings. They came with a sample tube for the mass air meter. Comes with 2 turbos. Now, we had our exhaust housings coated as an option because if you don't, then you end up having a little bit of, they'll rust almost immediately. So we got the coated option. That's about the only option that we put on this kit. Comes with oil pumps to pump the oil from the back to the front. Since it is a remote mount system, you got to get that oil back to the front. Came with a tuner. This one came with a Diablo Sport tuner. Came with additional fuel injectors, brand spanking new spark plugs, blow-off valve, wastegates, air filters, everything. A very complete kit, and look at the size of that intercooler. They left nothing to chance. This is a complete, well-tuned kit that we're going to install on our Camaro. Now, the only thing that we added to our kit was an adjustable boost controller. It's mechanical. If you want to get an electronic one, of course, we offer those at Andy's Autosport as well. All right, now before we get to our install, one of the things that you're going to want to do is read the instruction manual. Now, I got to tell you something. This kit from STS is, I know this can be intimidating looking at all these parts, and you should see the stuff that's not even on the table. There's another complete box of tubing that would absolutely scare you if you didn't know what you were doing. Nothing to be afraid of. STS has a fantastic installation manual. I promise you, all you have to do is follow their instructions to the letter. You will not have any problem installing this kit. When it comes down to the installation manual, it tells you everything. It shows you detailed pictures of where all the individual components are, every bolt that you need to take off, exactly how it should mount, and the STS kit even comes with those bolts to mount it. So all you have to do is follow the instructions, and you'll get this kit on with no problems. Now it's time for the fun part. We're going to put this twin turbo STS kit on our customer's Camaro, and then we're going to go see if we can't find a Mustang to whoop up on. On the bottom right, you can see the dyno results accumulating to an average of about 430 horsepower. All right, now we know what this baby makes stock. We're going to install our turbo kit. To get this install started, we've tied our signal wire into the hot wire of our number 2 injector. Install the PCV switch valve and tie it into the existing PCV system. Don't forget, there's a one-way check valve that goes in one of these hoses. Make sure you follow the instructions. First, we will install the hose from the valve cover to the PCV switch valve. This hose goes from the driver's side to the throttle body. The STS electrical is pre-wired. Simply plug it in and they've done all the hard work for you. The STS kit comes with a wiring harness that is designed to simply hook up to a 12-volt source, a ground, and a switched signal wire. They also did a great job with a wire loom, giving you enough wire for a very clean factory look. Make sure you follow the instructions to see where to route the wire for each component. Now we will drill and tap the valve covers for the oil return lines. Read the instructions to make sure you drill them in the proper place so they don't interfere with other components. Next, remove the inner fender wells to install the oil return pumps. Remove the bumper cover and bumper support to install the huge STS intercooler. Remove the windshield washer tank. STS supplies one that you can install in the engine compartment. Now we're going to install the tubes from the outlet of the intercooler. There are several tubes that route through the fender well to the intake. Install the compressor bypass valve and don't forget the O-ring for proper seal. Now I've pinched the O-ring before, so what I did is I removed the bolt from the clamp and I split it and put it around the compressor bypass valve. Then I reinstalled the bolt and bolted it down tightly. When installing the silicone tubes, make sure you clock the clamps so you can easily get to them in case you need to service them at a later date. Now it's time to hook up the charge air tube to the intake. Now the final tube to the intake. This is where you're going to install your factory mass airflow sensor. We mounted the new windshield washer reservoir with the supplied brackets, and now we're going to reuse the factory washer pump. Next, loosen up the heat shield and run your oil feed line, return line, and boost reference line underneath the shield. Now for the fun part. Get rid of those factory mufflers because that's where the turbos are going to be installed. Install the new hangers. We are going to assemble the turbo section of the exhaust. First, we're going to install the wastegates. Make sure you install the seat or the wastegates won't seal and it will not boost properly. STS has supplied stainless steel hardware to mount the wastegate and the turbos. Now we will install the tailpipe extension. Not much here, but it's easier to install it now and feed it through the factory exhaust outlet in the factory holes of the bumper cover. Once you feed it through, you can attach the entire assembly to the factory exhaust pipe. Now, following the instructions, we've installed the turbos on the back and we've left them a little bit loose. Now we went ahead and installed our intercooler piping that runs to the front. Very simple process. And what you do is basically just follow the instructions. They do a fantastic job on the instructions. There are some little clips that you put up inside the frame so the bolts will go up in them, and they go right down along the side of the outside portion of the frame. Very easy to install, and it looks really good. They did a really good job on engineering this kit. Here's what the intercooler piping looks like after it is installed. Notice the oil return line runs right next to the intercooler piping. The crossover pipe from the driver's side is a tight fit, but it's mounted perfectly and you shouldn't have any ground clearance issues. It does run to the passenger side, so you can run it through the intercooler. We had to trim the inner fender wells, but they come with these covers in order to keep the oil pumps away from the debris from the tires. Okay, now one of the great things about the STS kit, it comes with everything that you need. In our particular case, it also came with some big injectors. I believe they're about 750 cc injectors. To install them is very simple. You want to make sure you've relieved the pressure. You've got a little pressure relief valve on the end of the fuel rail. You relieve the pressure so that there's no fuel pressure in there. And then there's just a couple of bolts you take off, pop this. I've already installed them in this car. You take these off, just pull the clips off, very simple. And it also comes with colder spark plugs. You want to make sure you put those in as well. This is all buttoned up. Now let's put our car back together. At about 6,300 RPM, our Camaro reached 602 horsepower. After 3 dyno runs, it averaged about 598 horsepower with our STS Twin Turbo kit. The STS Twin Turbo kit brought our Camaro to over 600 horsepower. That's more than 150 horsepower over stock. If you have any question about the STS Twin Turbo kit or anything else, please call us at 1-800-419-1152 or email us at info@andysautosport.com. And once you've installed those high-performance parts, send us a picture of your ride to customer.rides@andysautosport.com. You might see your car on our Facebook page. I think those Mustangs got a little bit of trouble now. We hope you've learned something today, and we'll see you on another episode of Andy's Autosport TV.